Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Barroom Boys. I'm Mondo here with Hotska and Beeve. And on today's episode, we got NFL recap, MLB Free Agency. We got some Ronaldo talk. We got our good buddy Austin Hart, host of Hart's Home Half, on to talk about some college football. Then after that, we're going to have a little special segment. The Barroom Boys are making a Madden franchise, and we're going to have a draft today. And after that draft is going to be the beer draft, the snake draft of beer. So stay tuned for a great episode. It's going to be a great time. Boys, how are we doing today?
Doing great, I'm on campus. I'm currently in a little auditorium here. Pretty empty, but that's kind of how I like it.
Be back with the different locations.
Here we go.
Always keeping us on our toes.
Push up the vibes every now and then.
Yeah. Nice.
All right. Todd, how you doing?
All right, man. Typical work week. Just trying to get through it. Holidays are coming up. I'm looking forward to that. So, yeah, let's get into it.
All right. We started off with Thursday night football. Bills versus Patriots. Bills win 24-10 on the back of Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, the duo from hell, coming at you, getting them their 9th win on the season. Hodska,
Yes.
take it away.
Yeah, Patriots looked awful. They looked terrible. Usually our defense is pretty good. We weren't this week. It's a tough week, I guess. Playing the Bills it always sucks losing to them. But yeah, they're kind of head and shoulders above our team. We're sitting at 6-6 right now. I don't really know what, as a fan of the Patriots, I don't really know what I want us to do, because we're one game out of the playoffs, but I also wouldn't mind kind of losing a couple more to get a better draft pick. But yeah, we got some easy games coming up, but then our schedule is kind of mixed in terms of easy games left and hard games left. We have still the Bengals to play. We still have Dolphins to play, and we still have another game with the Bills. So those are 3 tough games. Then we got some easier games like the Cardinals and the Raiders. So we'll see how it goes, but did not look good. Bills just did their thing.
Yeah, and if you guys win a couple more games, Matt Patricia might be keeping his job next year.
Yeah, I don't want that to happen. I'd rather him go back to defensive coordinator. Hopefully we just absolutely crush the Raiders, and then they realize that Josh McDaniels didn't work out, and then we hire him back. That's the goal.
Yeah.
I think the Raiders are too cheap to get rid of McDaniels.
I don't know.
We'll see. Well, from one disappointed fan to another, we go over to San Francisco, where the Dolphins lose 17-33 to the 49ers.
Brock Purdy season.
I've seen some kind of crazy takes out there. Not really happy about it. Tua has one bad game, loses the first game he plays start to finish this season, or his first loss with that. And they're already saying he's a bust and can't be the starting QB. Fucking ridiculous. Tua's going to be fine. He's going to ball out when he needs to against Justin Herbert next weekend in prime time. We don't give a fuck about the 49ers. They're not going to make it far in the playoffs. Who they got? That rookie QB, he's not going to last long.
Defense
shit himself.
They have a top defense
right now. Matter. They're not going to make it that far.
He looked decent, and Garoppolo is expected back within 6 to 8 weeks. So depending on how they finish up, he could be back by the time maybe probably not the divisional, but NFC Championship game comes around. If they somehow make it there, he could be back.
Yeah, I think Brock Purdy looked more than decent. I think he held his own. Granted, he's got all the right pieces around him.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to fuck up with that offensive scheme when you have Kittle, Deebo Samuel, Ayuk, and McCaffrey to throw the ball to.
Garoppolo, before the injury, was pretty much a game manager. All Brock Purdy needs to do is not turn the ball over, and they're going to be winning games off their defense.
Yeah, and their O-line is one of the best in the league, so he's got some time in the pocket. You just got to step up and make the right thing.
Yeah.
All right, next we got the Steelers. Hopkins 19-16. What the hell just happened? Hello?
You went into like echo mode.
Am I good?
Yeah, now you're chilling.
Okay. This was a shitty game. I didn't watch it at all. I'm gonna keep it honest here. This was boring as hell.
I think the only highlight I saw from that game was the Najee stiff arm. That was disgusting. But
Boring
otherwise,
ass game.
yeah.
It is what it is. The Steelers, hey, they won back-to-back games. Maybe they're doing something over there. Mike Tomlin, I can't remember last time he had a losing season. I don't think he's ever had one. So
Yeah, I
maybe
don't think he's ever had one either. He's trying to make a comeback.
Yeah. Well, I guess kind of talking about comebacks, let's talk about the Packers beating the Bears 28-19, putting up 18 in the fourth quarter. Boys, take it away.
Yeah, I don't think there was ever a chance that Aaron Rodgers was going to go to Chicago and lose, no matter how bad his team was. We now know that Christian Watson is probably going to be the offensive rookie of the year.
Yeah.
He's like, what, 8 touchdowns in the last 4 games or something ridiculous.
Yeah, he's putting up Madden type numbers right now.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
the Packers need it. He's their only life on offense right now. They can't do anything.
Rodgers finds a guy. Yeah, he's always going to find his guy.
Yeah.
And I think the Packers are still shit, but I mean, the Bears are one of the worst teams in football. So
Yeah. I just find it so funny that like Randall Cobb is still like somehow making big plays for the Packers.
I feel like Randall Cobb isn't even that old. He's
Dude,
like younger than you think.
I know he's younger than I think, but it's like I'm thinking like prime Randall Cobb when they had like Jordy Nelson
Yeah,
and it was that like receiving core was disgusting.
and
When
now
they when the Packers had like Clay Matthews and everyone, like that team was disgusting.
yeah, Kentucky Wildcat, Randall Cobb.
Yeah.
All right. We got some Wildcats out in Detroit as the Lions win 40-14 against the Jags. Goff balled out. Swift scored a tutty. Amon-Ra, just different. Just built absolutely different.
I mean, it was a perfect game for the Lions. I think I think I saw a stat where they scored on every single possession they had the ball. They at least took away points. They didn't punt once. They didn't turn the ball over once. So, I mean, overall, you can't be mad at how they played. They played a great game.
I mean, the Lions' offense is just crazy right now. It's high octane. Whoever would have thought that? They
Yeah.
just they can't seem to win games, but I mean, this season they're I feel like they're in every game that they play.
Yeah. It just pisses me off from a fantasy manager standpoint because I have both DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams, and now it's coming to the playoff time, and I don't know which I'm gonna play.
Jamal gets all the touchdowns.
Yeah, but Swift gets a touchdown every game too. It's basically they split carries and it's just
Yeah,
like you bank on touchdowns. Jamal gets you a touchdown, but Swift just does some crazy shit and also scores and gets like 17 points a game.
and he's back healthy now too.
Yeah. So
All right, that's enough of the Lions.
yeah.
All right, we got the Vikings sneaking out a dub over the Jets 27-22. Mike White kind of got exposed this game. He's kind of
A little
fraud.
bit. Just a little bit.
Kind of a fraud, but it's okay.
It was funny because I'm watching the game with a bunch of my friends that are Jets fans, and they're like going into the game, they're like, Mike White is the guy. Fourth quarter comes around. All right, time to put in Joe Flacco, not even Zach Wilson. So it seems like they might have already moved on. Honestly, the Jets should have won that game. That was terrible fourth quarter management by the Jets and Mike White. But I mean, it was entertaining. Jay Jettas versus Sauce Gardner. That was a good matchup. Kind of locked him up.
Yeah, the Jets defense is for real. It's just a shame that their offense is crumbling week by week.
Yeah, Garrett Wilson is putting up great numbers too. He's having a good season. If they just find like a consistent QB and get their line going, get back Breece Hall, the Jets are going to be good for the next couple years.
So do you think there's a chance that Zach Wilson is going to start again this year? Or do you
No.
think
There might be
think
a
so.
little bit.
I think
if they lose the next 2 games or if Mike White just has like a crazy run of interceptions,
Mhm.
it would
Yeah.
be tough to decide whether to put in Wilson or Flacco or whoever their other quarterback is. I know they got another one on the bench. They've been talking about.
So I mean, they don't have enough room. I'm curious to see what they do with Zach Wilson just to see if they like cut him or not. Because if they cut him, I could see the 49ers picking him up.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. All right, Beeve, you want to just take it away?
Yeah, so the Giants Washington game ended in a tie. There were no winners. I think the winners here actually are the Commanders. The Giants definitely should have won this game. They should have won it in regulation. Should have kicked a field goal and won it in overtime. The Commanders were practically playing for the tie. And yeah, now the Commanders get a bye week before they face us on Sunday Night Football, while we have to go and play the Philadelphia Eagles next week. So it's not the greatest outlook for the Giants, but I mean, hopefully we can keep next week close, build some momentum, and have the advantage over Washington when we beat them in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones' first primetime win.
Yeah. I mean, also Slayton kind of screwed you guys too.
Yeah, there were just a bunch of missed opportunities. There's a flag for taunting
Yeah.
late in the game that was just
A
ridiculous.
lineman that flexed.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Those are calls that are made like half the time, just happen to work against us. But I don't know. I felt like Daniel Jones looked all right. Saquon looked all right. We just have no receivers. Our defense was keeping us in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm still positive. 7-4-1. It's not too bad.
Yeah. Still
Could be
fine
worse.
playoff spots. You're chilling.
Yeah.
The problem is if we lose to Washington, then we're fucked.
Yeah.
Well, now over to a team that's not chilling at all. It's the Denver Broncos. 3-9. Lose a crazy baseball score of 10-9. Absolutely horrible. Russell Wilson's fall from grace is ridiculous.
He has 7 touchdowns
Absolutely
this season.
unbelievable. It's crazy.
They can't do anything.
It's
It's pretty
crazy.
bad. And I still think Russ is a good player. I haven't really watched much of the Broncos just because they've been like an eyesore this season, but it's got to be partly on the coach. Like if you score like what 19 points a game, you have 1-2 losses on the season. Like coach has got to be gone. I don't
Yeah.
care if it's first year.
Yeah. I
Can't
mean,
get
they're
rid of
definitely
Russ.
not on the same page. The entire team's not on the same page as Russ. The birthday party shit, only half the team showed up. I thought that was hilarious. But that basically sums up their season.
Yeah. Let's not overlook though. Lamar Jackson goes down with an injury.
Yeah,
That's
massive,
huge for playoff implications.
massive for playoff implication. I mean, Huntley, he did his job. Fourth quarter comeback
Yeah.
win. Did his job. He's basically Lamar 2.0 with a less shitty arm. Or like a more shitty arm, but
Yeah, I mean, what we've seen from Huntley, he can win them some games. The Ravens also have a really good defense,
they also have a really good kicker.
and they have a really good record. So I think they'll be all right in terms of playoff hopes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, now to the game everyone and their mother was watching when it first started. And that was the Browns at Texans. The matchup of the weekend didn't unfold like we thought it would. Well, that I hoped it would. Watson
Not
comes
horrible.
back. That piece of shit's back on a football field. Just he looked horrible at the start. He inched it out throughout the game. They win 27-14. But I want to propose a theory. If you're the Houston Texans, and I'm asking both of you this.
Yep.
If you're the Texans, you find out Deshaun Watson is suspended until the day he plays you. Why are you not signing players like Ndamukong Suh to your defense leading up to that matchup?
Yeah. You look at that, they could have made some moves. At the end of the day, their defense played fine. They didn't.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the hurt Deshaun Watson.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, I guess.
He's already off the market. They would have had to done that a month ago.
Just pick up Vontez Perfect out of retirement.
Yeah,
Get Palomalu back there, Cam Chancellor, and just rock his shit.
exactly.
Yeah, but I mean, this game was crazy. Like the Browns defense went absolutely haywire. Like I think they had like 30 plus fantasy points, which is
Yeah, they had like 31 fantasy points, which is ridiculous.
return touchdown, fumble recovery. I think they had a pick six. Like
They had a pick six, they had a kick return or a punt return. Donovan Peoples-Jones had like a 76-yarder, and then they
yeah,
had a fumble six or something.
I had their defense.
Yeah, I was playing against their defense in one league, and it fucked me.
that's a game changer.
It
31
is.
points for defense.
My
Ridiculous.
team's been horrible. I mean, it
Yeah,
was huge for me.
yeah. I mean, I lost my
It was a
fantasy
huge
matchup.
game.
I lost by 12. If their defense had 18, I would have won. And
Oh,
that's still a great
we
day.
forgot. We didn't do the big dog recap.
We could do it at the end of this.
All right. Seahawks at Rams. Seahawks sneak it out. 27-23. Geno Smith looked great. I'm not even going to lie. He looked really good. Threw for 367, 3 tutties. Cam Akers finally woke the fuck up. He ran for 60 with 2 touchdowns. Haven't seen him do that since last season. Absolutely unbelievable. And Tyler Lockett did his thing, but those are kind of the 3 leaders and standouts from that game that I watched.
Yeah,
No, Gino looked good for real.
DK had a great game too. Catching the game-winning touchdown, he had over 100 yards too. But yeah, the Seahawks offense looks really good, except their running game is now bad with Kenneth Walker potentially out. So
Yeah.
And the Rams got Baker.
yeah, the Rams did get Baker.
Apparently, they're having him read the playbook on his flight over to LA, so he might be able to start. I think they're playing on Thursday.
Yeah. I mean, hey, it's worth a shot. I mean, it's Baker's last chance in the league, really. It's make or break time. Anyway, the Rams aren't making the playoffs, so might as well have some fun with it. Try
You got to be
test it
better
out.
than Wolford, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We'll see.
Got him.
All right, on to another huge matchup from this weekend. Chiefs at Bengals, an absolute fucking slugfest. Bengals win it 27-24. Joe Burrow's got to be in contention for the MVP now, right?
Yeah, I mean, I still think there's clear cut. The two clear cut favorites are
Yeah.
Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, but I think he's definitely in the conversation for that third spot. He won't win MVP, but he's definitely having a really good season, and I think the Bengals are going to be scary from here on out. I wouldn't
Remember how
want to play
bad
them.
he started it?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and then he lost Chase, and now he got Chase back.
Yeah. I mean,
And
they beat the Chiefs without Joe Mixon and a couple of players on their defense hurt. Did you see the clip of Jesse Bates? Like they had too many guys in the field, and Jesse Bates just like fell down and pretended he got a cramp, so they wouldn't get the penalty on like the 2-yard line.
Yeah. Hey, it's a part of the game.
Yeah,
That's
That's a
defensive
gamer
player.
right there.
that's a smart play.
That's a gamer.
Heads up play by the captain of the defense.
Man's a student of the game. 100%. All right. Now we got Chargers at Raiders. Chargers lose 20-27. I mean, cut it up any way you want. It's
just
the
Devontae
Josh
Adams.
Jacobs, Devontae Adams show. Like, it doesn't matter.
That's it.
That's who's carrying your team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have,
Devontae's been on a tear, though, bro. Real
So is
talk.
Jacobs.
So is
They both
Jacobs.
having ridiculous years.
It's crazy.
Jacobs wasn't like basically like they didn't even know if he was going to be the guy this year.
Yeah. Now look at him. Man's
Yeah.
a fucking machine.
I
Yeah.
saw Keenan Allen had a few nice grabs yesterday, Sunday too. So he's
Yeah.
back out of nowhere. Literally, he's been hurt, milking a fucking hamstring injury all week, all season.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's time to talk now about this absolute ass kicking the Colts got. 54-19. And the Cowboys aren't done. Allegedly, they might be signing OBJ.
Yeah.
So this team's nowhere near finished from completion. This is a fucking powerhouse. No bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, this game pissed me off because I turned it off at the end of the third quarter. And then I see the score when I wake up the next morning and see how the hell did they score 33 points in the fourth quarter.
It's tough to see Matt Ryan go out like this.
Yeah. As the owner of the Dallas Cowboys defense in 3 fantasy leagues, I was very appreciative of their performance. But yeah, I mean, their defense just stepped the fuck up. They're nasty.
Yeah, I mean, they're good or whatever, but, you know, they've been good in the past, and they always find a way to blow it.
choke in the playoffs.
So I think it's gonna be more of the same this year. Whoever they play,
Yeah,
gonna have home field advantage, so they're gonna have to go on the road playoff matchup.
yeah,
I think they're losing first round.
yeah.
Yeah.
Unless they play the fucking shit, they're probably gonna be the 1 seed in the wild card, so they're gonna play the fucking dog shit division that is the NFC South.
On to the NFC South matchup for Monday night. We have the Buccaneers taking down the Saints 17-16. Tom Brady brings his team back to 500. The Buccaneers are a joke. The Saints are a joke. The NFC South is a joke. Take it away, Hod.
I mean, yeah. What a transition by yours truly. But yeah, the Saints just piss me off because I don't get why they don't play Alvin Kamara more. He's basically had, I think, 55% of snaps and basically was sharing the game half and half with Mark Ingram, which doesn't make any sense to me. Olave had a crucial job, but he's been pretty good for them lately. I still think they should start Jameis Winston over Dalton. That's just personally. I think Jameis is a better quarterback than Dalton for their offense, and they'll be more effective. Defense played pretty well, holding Tom Brady and the Bucs, one of the powerhouse offenses in the leagues on paper, to 17 points, and majority of it being in the fourth quarter. But yeah, it's just another Brady comeback that we've been used to seeing for the past 20 years.
Yeah, I turned this game off when it was 13-3, and I was more shocked than anyone to see that Tom Brady actually was able to come back and win the game.
Mm-hmm.
The Saints defense must have just folded.
Yeah, I mean, they're injured. Lattimore's been out for the past 5 weeks, who's arguably their best defensive player. And then it just came down to 2-minute offense where Tom Brady just does his thing, and Chris Godwin's getting open, Mike Evans is getting open, Rachaad White checkdowns, Fournette, a couple checkdowns, they're just doing their thing.
I mean the Bucs offense is just better when Tom Brady's calling the plays.
Yeah, I mean they also had a huge pass interference call on Julio Jones that was a 50-yard PI that set him right up at the 2-yard line. So that was a big turning point in the game as well.
It's a typical Brady play.
Yeah. So I mean that division is just fucking awful. Let's put it it's so bad.
Yeah, but let's be real, the Bucs are gonna win. And come playoff time
they're gonna play the Cowboys. They're gonna play the Cowboys.
They are now. Yeah, they'll play the Cowboys, but they'll
have
the Cowboys. And I mean, who knows? That could be a good matchup.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah. I mean, it was a crazy week in the NFL, that's for sure. I don't think there's much crazier going on, though, than the MLB free agency buzz right now. I mean, these have been the biggest headlines, including a fucking ridiculous headline, not headline today, that damn near gave me a heart attack. But we'll get to there in a minute. Let's go down the line real quick. I'll kind of just, read off some of the signings because we haven't really talked about it.
yeah.
So Mike Clevenger goes to the White Sox. Good signing by them. They really needed the depth at starting pitcher. The Astros, World Series champs, sign Jose Abreu, just adding even more depth to that powerhouse lineup. I mean, it is just insane what they're building there. It's going to be good for years. Next big signing we have, I'm sorry to Beav, I know this hurts him. DeGrom goes to the Rangers, 5-year, $185 million. But here's why it's a good signing and why it's an even better reason the Mets didn't take him. The Mets made the right choice. I'm going to keep it a buck. I know people are kind of freaking out about that, but it is what it is. They also made the wrong choice. We'll get there. So Jacob DeGrom, he's your no doubt best pitcher in the MLB when he's healthy, which he hasn't been since 2019. That's a while ago. That's before COVID. Do you remember times before COVID? Probably not. We're in a different era. DeGrom has not been healthy since 2019. He was wanting a max deal, and the Mets just weren't going to pay it to him, and it just made sense for them. DeGrom is, for the most part, an injury-prone pitcher, but now he brings kind of a focal point to the Rangers roster to go along with Corey Seager and Marcus Semien. So they're kind of building their like big three there to get media attention. They're not going to be a good team because DeGrom's always going to be hurt, but it at least brings more fans to Rangers games. So both teams, in all actuality, make the right decision here. Beav, I don't know if you want to comment on it, but
Yeah, I love DeGrom. He was our ace. He had some insane numbers with the Mets. But, at the same time, if he's not going to stay healthy, why are we going to pay him $200 million when he's 35 years old? I know Verlander's old, but he just won the Cy Young last year, and we're signing him to a 2-year deal. We're saving $100+ million on this guy who's also a stud, arguably a better pitcher right now than DeGrom, who hasn't been able to stay healthy. I like the move that the Mets made. I think DeGrom ultimately wanted out. I was very surprised to see that we signed Verlander, but I'm also very happy we get Kate Upton in New York too.
Just about to say, it'll be nice to have Kate Upton on your side cheering for the Mets.
Yeah,
yeah,
Verlander just won a Cy Young, just won a World Series. He's back with Scherzer, back
Mhm.
from the Detroit days. That's got to be like 15 years ago now, but they're back together. They're old, but they're
wild.
still effective. And all we need is health on the pitching staff. DeGrom made what, like 10, 15 starts last season.
I do think you overpaid Verlander though.
Yeah, but we overpaid him. We still saved a shit ton of money by not re-signing DeGrom. And our owner's the richest owner in baseball. I think we'll be all right.
True. Yeah, I mean, you trade out one ace for another. It's just all about the longevity of each of them. That's kind of the biggest issue. That's what'll tell us who won the trade, or I guess the free agency
I
signing.
will say one more thing.
Yeah.
DeGrom will never pitch again in the playoffs. So it's his loss.
Well, I mean, neither will Verlander, but
All right,
I
say what you will.
Yeah.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah.
That was a layup. Dodgers re-sign Kershaw but lose their shortstop Trey Turner to the Phillies. Trey Turner gets an 11-year deal worth $300 million.
Exciting.
Good for him. Love it. It is a great signing for Philly. Their lineup is stacked.
Yeah, they're nice.
Stacked. And then earlier today, we had a huge headline coming out of the MLB that Josh Bell signed with the Cleveland Guardians. And nothing else happened today. There was no other headlines, nothing. So
Well, Bellinger went to the Cubs.
Yeah, Bellinger went
Bellinger
to the
did go to the
Cubs.
Cubs.
So LA is clearing off some
Yep.
salary there.
Wonder what they're clearing out for.
Shut your mouth, fucking whore.
I was
Shut
just
your
saying, I
mouth.
wonder what they're clearing out for. I don't know. I've
How
only heard,
could you?
I know what the Giants are clearing out for, and I know what they offered to someone today,
This
Allegedly.
episode's over.
allegedly.
Look, as of now, Judge is still a Yankee.
I wasn't
Now,
talking about Aaron Judge.
As of
yes, you are.
tomorrow,
Shut the fuck up. If tomorrow comes, expect an emergency podcast episode to air with an incredible rant that would never be matched by anyone. Just absolute all time.
Yeah,
Get ready for that only if it happens.
Yeah, that'll be an episode where Beav and I just don't talk.
Yeah, probably. That's more than likely what would happen.
yeah, the Yanks also extended their extended Cashman for another 4 years, right?
Well, that'll be part of the rant. We'll get there if it needs to be.
Coming soon.
I will spoil that for you. I don't like it. So, yeah. I guess let's move into some World Cup action. How do you want to talk a little Ronaldo? Give us the feeling on what's happening.
Yeah. So what the hell is going on? Why was Ronaldo benched today in a knockout game?
Yeah. So for those who don't know, Portugal had their knockout game today. They won it comfortably. Portugal looked good. Big headline: Ronaldo did not start. So basically, in the last group stage game, I believe they were playing, I want to say, South Korea.
Yeah.
And basically Portugal had already qualified for within the first two games because they won. So it was mathematically impossible for them to lose the group. So Ronaldo got subbed off early, kind of almost as you would put it, load management terms, like NBA type, like don't want him getting hurt, anything like that. And he had a very negative response to that, being visibly upset on the bench, cussing out their manager and just being like throwing water bottles, like yelling at the staff, like just being like a kind of douchebag that Ronaldo has kind of been known to do, especially as of late in his career, because ultimately that man just wants to play and get paid a lot of money for playing. But he's not the same Ronaldo that he used to be, where teams are arguably more effective if he's not in the lineup, as was shown today, where Portugal won 5-1 comfortably, and the striker
Yeah,
that placed Ronaldo scored a hat trick.
hat trick.
Yeah, and that was his first international game for Portugal. He only played like 30 something minutes in the previous time for him. So that was his first real start for Portugal, and he scored a hat trick. So can't be too mad at that. Ronaldo did get in the game, like got like 18 minutes in.
He had a couple lifts on goal. I was watching.
Yeah. It's kind of been the same story like his season at Man U, even though he's not on Man U anymore. Basically Ronaldo just wants to play and be the focal point of a team. And he thinks that he's still 30-year-old Ronaldo when he's 37-year-old Ronaldo. So he's kind of living in the past thinking like, oh, I'm the best player in the world still, which he's not. It's clear and day. That's why teams aren't playing him and they're winning and doing fine and almost doing better with him out of the lineup than in the lineup. But ultimately Saudi Arabia offered him, I think Al Nasir is the club. I'm sorry if I butchered that to all my Saudi Arabian fans watching the pod.
It's okay. It's okay.
But they offered him 3 years, $200 million.
They butchered things themselves.
Yeah. 3 years, $200 million is a ridiculous contract.
Wow.
For anyone in the sports industry. We've never seen those types of numbers before for 3 years. And yeah, ultimately Saudi Arabia, the team just has a lot of wealthy ambassadors and view it as a great publicity stunt for them. And Ronaldo is just money healthy because he wants to play and he wants to win, but no team that is currently winning will pay him that money because they know he's washed up and not what he used to be. So they're looking at it from a marketing standpoint. Hey, we're bringing one of the biggest, well-known soccer players in the world, one of the biggest celebrities in the world, has over 500 million followers on Instagram, and just view it as that standpoint, which is great for Saudi Arabia. It's terrible for Ronaldo. It's going to ruin his legacy. And yeah, I've never been a huge Ronaldo fan. I'm a Messi fan myself. I hope he wins the World Cup. But yeah, that's kind of my take on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's super interesting to see how like a legend is kind of on decline, like the way that he is,
Yeah.
because before this World Cup, even like the first game, he scored a goal. Is like he was the first guy to score in what 5 World Cups,
Mm-hmm.
which is ridiculous. It's just gone all downhill since. I mean, like the interview with Piers Morgan a few weeks ago just
That was
completely
great.
tarnished his reputation.
Yep.
Um, yeah, it's tough. I mean, and this World Cup is interesting too because you're not really seeing. I mean, Messi's had some incredible goals, but
Yeah.
you haven't really been seeing the Messi Ronaldo rivalry like it's been the last 20 or so years. You got a
Yeah.
guy like Mbappe who's probably definitely like the best player in the world,
Without a
like
doubt. Without a doubt.
right now, and I mean he's only going to score more goals. France is looking real nice.
Yeah. I mean, Portugal, they got a pretty easy game in terms of what they could have had. In their next game coming up in the quarterfinals. There are going to be some great soccer games coming on over Friday and Saturday. England, France.
England, France.
That's going to be a really good game on Saturday. Even Brazil, Croatia, Argentina, Netherlands. Those are all really good games. So I'm looking forward to seeing some good soccer.
Yeah.
Penalty shootouts are back too. They're fun.
Oh
Spain,
yeah. Well, I mean, there's been 2 so far, and the winning teams have just like obviously looked good in them. The losing teams in the PKs have
Spain.
been so bad. Like Japan's kicks were atrocious.
Awful.
Spain's
Spain
kicks
didn't score a
were
single
awful.
penalty today.
Yeah,
They missed all 3 of theirs.
yeah. Just
So
surprising.
penalties are tough. I've missed my fair share of penalties when it's mattered before.
What's the
Uh,
strategy? You just look for the goalie's first move, and then you just
your strategy is just don't. Basically, my strategy is just don't think about it. I tend to think about it right as soon as I'm about to kick the ball of where I'm going to put the ball. I look at which way the goalie is. It's kind of like it's all kind of mind games. Like when you were little, it's like, yeah, you used to like my strategy always when I was little is, oh, I'm gonna look left right before, or like look left while I'm looking at, like before I start running, and the goalie's gonna think I go left and I just go right. It worked every single time until I got to high school and like
Yeah.
Premier and academy and stuff. Then when the keepers start getting good, then it's like, okay, it's kind of mental when everyone starts getting bigger. Then it's just like you just got to be confident and put it in a place where the keeper can't get it, or you just have to make sure you hit it hard enough. And if you hit it soft and place it, chances are it could get saved. Like there's all strategies to it. They're tough at the end of the day, especially for a World Cup when you have the country on your back. So
Yeah, I think the coldest move is like what the guy from Morocco did to win it.
yeah.
Kick it
Oh
right up
yeah,
the middle.
that was Panenka right down the
That's
middle.
so hard.
That guy has huge balls. That's the play where
That
it's
is
like, if
savage.
he makes it, he's a fucking legend for it. Like
Yeah.
build a statue in Morocco of him. If he misses it, he's not allowed back in Morocco.
That is a ballsy kick because the goalie just doesn't move. He's just catching it like a
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
water
So
balloon.
yeah, and that's the thing about penalties too, because goalies do their research. They know the last 10 times what place Messi has gone to in penalties, if he's gone 6 to the right side and 4 to the left side, or all 10 to the right side. So they've done their research, especially in the World Cup. They don't even do the research. They have people do the research for them and just tell them. So it's all analytical when it comes to penalty kicks. So,
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
tough
right.
to see Spain go out like that. Spain was kind of who I was rooting for.
I wanted to see Spain Portugal, which would have been this round or the quarterfinal game, but now it is Morocco Portugal.
I think now I'm switching my allegiance to France because they got Mbappe and they're just nasty. But I saw Brazil kick the shit out of
Dude, they're
Japan yesterday.
so good.
They look so good, bro.
They're so good. It's gonna be fun to watch, especially as a soccer fan. So
That guy Richarlison is nasty.
he's nice. He's nice.
Yeah. All
All
right.
right.
Should we bring him on?
Yeah.
How you been, buddy?
Been pretty good, dude. How about you guys?
Shit, just working all the time.
Yeah. Same here, man. Same here.
That's about
It's the
it.
life now these days of us adults.
Yeah.
Beeves just chilling.
Yeah,
For a
I'm
little longer.
I'm at UF. I'm in a little auditorium here right now.
I was literally about to ask, what are you in, like you in one of the business buildings right now?
I'm in Stuzen.
Susan, I knew it. That was the name. I always forget that shit. Tight. I was literally gonna ask you, like, you're definitely in a classroom right now.
Oh yeah, I
Oh,
graduate next week, so I'll be on that adult life pretty soon.
Not a boy. Good shit.
no, stay there. Have fun.
Yeah, honestly,
Enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Hart. We brought you on for a little bowl game analysis. You're our bowl game insider this year. I guess let's just start off. What are the bowl games to watch this year?
Sure, bro. I mean, I wrote a couple of them down. I got 6 good ones here. We're gonna start off with Florida. I mean,
Why don't we?
yeah, obviously, why don't we? But
Playing you, Beef.
I don't know what to think about this game. How do we get matched up in a bowl in Vegas with 14th ranked Oregon State? Like 9-3.
They want to see us fail, bro. They just want to see us fail.
I think they do. They really just want to see the Pac-12 get one over the SEC.
Yeah.
And bro, that's just gonna be so unfortunate. Like that's a lot of travel. The Florida's not even gonna get the full 15 days of practice in. And I think they're gonna miss out on like signing day or something like that. A really important day for recruits.
Yep.
So kind of a bad position to be put in, but it's gonna be interesting because Oregon State, they run the ball just as well as us. So I think that's gonna be pretty crazy that no AR now since he's now declared for the draft.
It's a blessing.
Before we go any further, what are the thoughts on Anthony Richardson for the draft?
So, if it was me, I would have waited another year. I think that would have been the smart move for him to make. But, he's probably rushing a little bit. This could hurt him as far as like development. But we'll see what happens. You can't hate on him too much. He's a Florida boy.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, he's projected to go, I think, in all the mocks, like he's the 5th highest quarterback on the board behind Stroud, behind Bryce Young, behind Levis,
Mhm.
and whoever the other guy, who's the other guy?
Bennett.
Maybe
What's he-
Hendon Hooker.
Yeah, no, I don't
No.
even think Hooker now
Stroud.
because Hooker's
Bennett.
hurt. Who?
Bennett.
Ohio State quarterback.
Stroud. Oh yeah, Stroud's gonna go. I think he's gonna go number 1 overall. But
Spencer Bennett, the 25-year-old phenom from hell.
can we talk about how he is a Heisman finalist as well?
It's
Nah,
bullshit,
that's
bro.
excessive.
It's such bullshit. He
Over
should
Hendon Hooker and Blake Corum, how are they gonna throw the 25-year-old Stetson Bennett in there?
I saw he's the same age as Lamar Jackson. They're
Yeah.
both born in 97.
Yeah, Lamar won it 6 years ago.
He's
God,
like he's probably the same age as Hurts, Burrow.
Yeah, he's 25.
none of that makes any sense to me. But I mean, regardless, I agree with you guys. Like I think he should have stayed another year. I mean, just to get the development, his running is his athletic ability is just phenomenal. Like everybody
monster.
knows that. But dude was not accurate this year. Like I think it was 53 or something like percentage completion rate over the season. Dude, that's not NFL caliber. I hate to say it, but I mean,
And
like
his
like you
touchdown
said,
to
I can't hate
interception
on him.
ratio, too, was just not that good for a college quarterback hoping to play pro football.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and like you said, you can't hate on the kid for getting a bag. He's going to take care of his family. He's going to take care of his loved ones. So can't hate on him for that. But yeah, selfishly as Florida fans, I think we would have definitely wanted him to stay another year. I mean, we could have.
Yeah. I mean, and also like obviously we loved having him as our quarterback, from Gainesville, born and raised and all that. But like leaving UF, like I don't really see him having much of a legacy here. I mean, like he lost to pretty much all of our rivals this year. He never beat Georgia. I mean, we lost to Kentucky the last
Talk
2
to him,
years.
Beeve. Talk to him.
And I just don't know how to thank Anthony Richardson for what he did here. Like he didn't really do
Let
much.
him know, Beeve. Let him know.
I mean,
love
hey, he
it.
had the cold play against the Pac-12 champions, number 8 team in the country that we beat this year. So good for us. But yeah,
I saw a thing. It was like, he wore number 15, one of the most like coveted numbers in UF history. Dude couldn't even like compete in the SEC, win an SEC championship. Like couldn't do any of that, but just
and beat Vanderbilt.
yeah.
Throwing it
didn't
all
even
away.
Vanderbilt.
I mean, he'll be drafted higher than we think, probably just based off his raw talent alone.
Mhm.
He's
But-
gonna he's not gonna be an immediate starter. He's gonna go, I think, late first round to a team that has an older quarterback, maybe like the Vikings or something like that. Like a team like that, or Tampa Bay, like a team that has an older quarterback on the way out that is looking for someone to develop for 2 years when their quarterback is on the downhill, and then start him in 3-5 years. So
I mean, if he does get more accurate, he's got insane arm strength. Like the
Mhm.
man can sling the ball. We know what he can do running the ball. It's just a matter of if he stays healthy and
his upside is unbelievable.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's a risky pick because we know what he can do throwing the ball.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. The Giants signed someone. Mitch Haniger.
Oh my god.
I was gonna say we would have seen a bigger response out of you, dude. I would have seen the phone smashed against the Gator thing, the Gator sign hanging up against you.
Yeah.
I've heard a couple. You would have left the podcast.
Yeah. We wouldn't have aired it. Like I would have left.
But yeah, what are some other games that you have listed, Hart?
Yeah, dude. So we'll stay in the state of Florida. Cheese It Bowl. FSU. Hate to say this, obviously, but had a really good year. Jordan Travis looked really good for FSU. Mike Norvell got his way off the hot seat really quick. And they're matching up with Oklahoma. Kind of a weird matchup there, too. It's like the same thing we were just talking about, Florida, Oregon State, like FSU 9-3, Oklahoma 6-6. Like what I just don't really understand the matchup there. But I mean, two high-flying offenses. I think it's going to be pretty interesting. If FSU's defense has been really good, though, and Oklahoma's has not, for a coach in Brett Venables at his supposed specialty was defense when he was taking over this team. So it
Yep.
has been a real disappointment there. I don't think Dylan Gabriel. I think he's been okay, but again, I think the poor defense just overshadows how much he's been able to do on the offensive side.
I mean, that's just like a staple of Oklahoma, right? They've always had a high octane offense and just a terrible defense. That's just like Big 12 in general.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
interesting to see how they fare in the SEC.
Yeah.
That's going to be real interesting. I'm excited for that move, but they're not going to fare very well. I'll tell you that right now. The Orange Bowl. A lot of orange in this bowl.
Indeed.
Clemson, number 7 against number 6, Tennessee. That is going to be very interesting. I'm really, really hyped for that matchup. DJ Ungalele, I think that's how you say his name, probably botched it. Bro hit the transfer portal. He was not the guy for Clemson. I think everybody around the world knew it but Dabo. And now Cade Klubnik's about to be the dude for Clemson. That guy can sling the ball.
Yeah.
And I mean, Tennessee, dude, it sucks. Hendon Hooker going down with injury. They were having a crazy good season. Also, hate to say that about one of our rivals, but I mean, they still got a ton of playmakers, man. That is going to be a very, very exciting game to watch, I think.
Yeah. All right, before you go on to, because I know probably some of the games that you're gonna talk about after this, in like your opinion, what is your top 4? Like, who do you think should have made the playoff and in what order? Or like if it's the same or
Yeah, I mean, I know there's so much debate about it and whatnot, but I think the top 3 should be what they are: Georgia, Michigan, TCU. I was on the camp that even if TCU lost that game, and even in the fashion that they did, overtime, very good Kansas State team. Like, Kansas State should not be overlooked. Very, very good team in Big 12 this year. Like, overtime loss, you couldn't punch it in at the 1-yard line. It is what it is. But going undefeated up until that point, you get one loss. I'm not going to knock you for that. I don't really agree with the Ohio State, though. I hate to say this, but I kind of would have put Bama in there over Ohio State. I know they have 2 losses, and there's no 2-loss team that's ever been in the playoff since it's been a thing since like 2014, 2013. But I think this was the year to do it. The Ohio State loss was piss poor. They got their doors blown off at home in a game that they were favored by against their biggest rival ever, Michigan. So, like, to me, the rest of their wins are not that convincing. The Big Ten is not a good conference. I mean, they laid it on Penn State, but so did Michigan. Like, they both beat the shit out of Penn State, and Penn State is like overrated every single year. I hate the hype about Penn State every single year, but it's always there for some reason.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't really agree with that. Alabama, you go on the road into incredibly tough environments and lose by a total of 4 points, both on the last play of the game.
Yep.
I mean, I know it's a little tough because LSU, they had that bad loss last week to Texas A&M, and I think honestly, if LSU were to just take care of business and beat the shit out of Texas A&M like everybody else has been doing this season, Alabama might have had a much better case, because now LSU, they dropped down to 17 in the rankings. I mean, they were top 10.
They're 5 at one point.
Yeah.
What's up?
They're
They're
5 at
5
one
at
point.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, that would have looked incredible to not only lose both of those games to top 10 teams, top 5 teams even, but also one score, end of the game, combined 4 points. Like, those are not bad losses. Ohio State, that was a bad loss. Like, couldn't even keep it close. It was a 20-point blowout. And Alabama, like, yeah, they're not as good as they have been in recent seasons. I mean, they're not what they were, and that's okay. But I think if they were to be put on a field with Ohio State, neutral field, be favored by at least 3, maybe even a touchdown.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Nick Saban was saying. He made a good point. Like, put us against Ohio State, put us against TCU. Like, who's going to be the favorite here? You know, and
Yeah.
everybody knows the answer. They just might not want to admit it.
Absolutely. Yeah. What did you guys think about it? You share the same sentiment, or you like Ohio State in there?
I thought Ohio State should have been in there. I thought they were either going to be 3 or 4. I know the playoff did what kept TCU at 3 because TCU was 5-1 against top 25 teams, and they were a great team overall.
Yeah.
Their loss was tough. this week against a really good Kansas State team with Deuce Vaughn, one of the best running backs in the country. This is my hot take, and I know America would have loved to see this more. When USC first lost Friday to Utah in the Pac-12 championship, and I saw TCU lose, I went to myself immediately and thought, are we really about to see Georgia 1, Michigan 2, Ohio State 3, Alabama 4?
Yeah.
That would have been crazy in terms of viewership standpoint. You would have had Georgia, Alabama 1 versus 4, and Ohio State, Michigan rematch. Now, I knew the playoff wouldn't do that, but at the same time, I was kind of hoping for it because that would have been electric. Because no offense to TCU, I think they get blown out by Michigan. I think Georgia routes Ohio State, and it's going to be Georgia, Michigan. And I think Georgia wins that game convincingly because I think Georgia is just superior. But overall, I would have loved to see that happen because, Georgia, Alabama would have been a hell of a game. Ohio State, Michigan, Ohio State would have wanted that game a second chance against Michigan again. So, but ultimately, I don't disagree with what the playoff did in the games, but yeah, that's my opinion.
I mean, it'll be very interesting to see the Alabama-Kansas State game.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that game is going to be close at all.
No, I think Alabama kicks the shit out of Kansas State, and I think Saban is going to be so mad that once he single-handedly beats Kansas State by like 30 and just be like at the playoff and be like, what the fuck?
Bro is going to roll the portal.
Yeah.
Can I explain why this was destiny?
Let's hear it.
We got come in the playoffs, boys.
Yeah.
We got come.
Got come.
Beeve looks confused. Beeve, let me explain to you. The G is Georgia. The O, Ohio State. TCU, M for Michigan. We got come in the playoffs. That's why it's destiny.
Okay. Wow.
It's a lot to swallow, huh?
I've seen that graphic so many times.
Yeah, I know.
That's awesome. God, it's awesome.
I'll be honest. I thought the committee was just gonna throw TCU out of the top 4 for. I mean, they lost to
There would
Kansas
have been a
State.
riot.
Kansas State, bro. We're talking about teams like powerhouses. Ohio State, Michigan, Bama, Georgia. You lose to Kansas State. I don't care how high they're ranked. They moved them up in the rankings for the championship game. We already know that. Like, I just think you got to throw them out at that point. I don't care how close the loss was. Loss is a loss. If you look at it that way, then maybe Tennessee is in there. They don't have a quarterback right now. It was just it was a fucked up
shit show.
Yeah. Would have been a lot easier if TCU won.
Yeah.
Work-wise, let me shout out these 3 real quick. Shout out to the Cure Bowl, UTSA versus Troy. Shout out to the Gasparilla Bowl, which is Wake Forest versus Missouri. And shout out to the bowl game I will be working at, the roofclaim.com, Boca Raton Bowl, Liberty versus Toledo. Slide through if you want to see me. 7:30, December 20th, Boca Raton, Florida.
Boca Bowl is always a great game. Boca Bowl is always a good game.
Got to shout it out for work.
I remember I saw.
Got to spread the awareness.
I saw Navy. Actually, no, I don't think that was a Boca Bowl. I saw Navy at that stadium, but I've been to a few Boca Bowls.
Nice.
That's gonna be tight, man. Liberty all the way for sure.
Remember when Lane Kiffin was down at FAU?
Yeah, good times. Good times.
All right.
All right. So I got a couple more. Talked about Alabama, K-State. Bama's, I think, just gonna kick the shit out of them. Another kind of lopsided game, but I don't know. There's something about this game. USC Tulane. On face value, USC should probably beat the shit out of Tulane, right? I mean, Tulane, group of 5 team, like,
yeah,
whatever. It is what it is. But USC might not have Caleb Williams, might have a bunch of people sitting out, and you have to think like, bro, this is Tulane's Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just beat UCF last week. Boom, they got their conference championship. But now they have the chance to take down one of the most storied programs in college football. Dude, they'll hold on to that forever. So you better believe everybody on that Tulane squad, nobody's sitting out. They're all going to go 100% into this game. So
that's a Tulane squad that won like 2 games last year.
Yeah,
Not
it's a
completely.
crazy turnaround. Like I could totally see them pulling off an upset. It'd be absolutely wild, but I could see it being a lot better of a game than people would think.
Agreed.
Yeah, definitely.
Nothing to lose.
Yeah. The last one I got on here, Rose Bowl, Utah, Penn State, the classic Pac-12 Big Ten game. Like I said, Penn State overrated, bro. Don't believe in them. Utah, we beat them earlier this season. Boom, first game of the season. We are Pac-12 champs. But Utah, man, they're a greedy team. They play very, very physical, and I do not think Penn State's ready for that shit. Not at all. I mean, games are won and lost in the trenches against Utah, and they're just gonna, I think, overpower Penn State. That's a long flight for Penn State to get all the way over there to the Rose Bowl, too. That's a lot of travel.
Yeah. Agreed.
That's gonna be a good game.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, Hart. Who was your pick?
To win it all, gonna have to go with Georgia too. I think Hod, he makes a good point. They're just too overpowering, man. Talent they have, they're playing with so many guys that are gonna be playing on Sundays.
I know.
I think it's gonna be nuts. I could definitely see them playing Michigan in the championship. Might be a good game, but I think Georgia will pull it out again, sadly, and they might go back to back.
Yeah. As much as I don't want them to win, as much as we all don't want Georgia to win another championship in 2 years back to back, their team's just ridiculous. From their defense is just insanely loaded. Like their entire defense will be seeing playing on Sundays. You'll see Bowers playing on Sundays, Darnell Washington, and then your receivers just make plays.
Yeah.
Stetson Bennett, although he's a Heisman finalist, he's all right. He just puts the ball where it needs to be. I mean, it's not that hard when you're a 25-year-old playing a bunch of 20-year-olds. So, yeah.
Yeah, Georgia's that one team that everybody's kind of shied away from talking about just because, there's no point. We already know just how good they are. It's almost inevitable at this point that they're going to win. If they lose, it'll be a historic upset. But, I mean, yeah, that Georgia being this good is not good for Florida.
Yeah. I know. As someone like the team that I would love to see win it all, I think everyone want to see TCU win it. Like that's who I'm personally rooting for to win it. Do I think they're gonna win it? No way in hell. But I'll be rooting for them.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind Michigan winning.
I kind of want to see a Michigan-Ohio State matchup.
That would be
I
crazy.
just know, biggest matchup, or I guess rivalry in college football.
Yeah.
There's no better stage than the Natty. Like that would be so fun to watch as a neutral fan.
Yeah.
I would love that.
I was thinking the same thing. If they can find a way to get that rematch in the championship, I mean,
huge.
Whoo, that'd be crazy.
I mean that means Ohio State needs to beat Georgia.
Yeah.
It's tough, but they could do it, dude.
Anything
can happen. Know in college football, Stroud is a much better quarterback than Stetson Bennett.
And that game is in Atlanta too, so you know where the crowd's gonna be leaning.
Yeah.
Marvin Harrison Jr. versus Kelly Ringo on the outside. That's gonna be a fun matchup to watch.
It's gonna be dirty, yeah. Stroud just has to have the game of his life, man. He's got to do it that game. I mean, that's the toughest defense he'll face. He already seen Michigan once, but he hasn't seen these boys, so it's gonna be tough.
I think if he wins that game, he's a clear-cut consensus #1 overall pick in the draft coming up in April.
Absolutely.
And he'll be a Houston Texan.
Yeah, Bryce Young hasn't beaten Georgia.
Yeah.
That is true. That is true.
So,
I mean, playing Georgia is pretty much like playing almost a shitty NFL defense.
Yeah. I know. It's tough.
I think Georgia could probably take on like the Texans at this point.
I think Georgia could beat the Texans easily this season.
Which is crazy to say.
I think they could. I know they probably won't be able to, but I think that it would be a close game.
I mean, you got Davis Mills going up against the Georgia defense.
It's such a stupid take.
It's a stupid take, but they could put up. I think they could put up a fight.
I don't think it's that stupid of a take.
All right,
bro. It's
Georgia has the best of the best.
Kids in college.
I mean, yeah, like NFL is the best of the best college players. Yeah, Georgia's got great college players, don't get me wrong, but they also have players who are just college players. They're not NFL caliber.
It definitely wouldn't be.
Georgia would get curb stomped by the Texans. No bullshit.
I don't think
Curb
they'd get
stop.
curb stop. I think
Damian
the
Pierce
Texans.
would run for 200 yards on Georgia. 100% guarantee.
I don't know,
Laramie
dude.
Tunsil may kill somebody.
That's fair.
Legitimately,
That's
may
fair.
kill somebody.
So
Stetson
John
Bennett's old
Bernard,
enough to be there.
Brandon
that's
Cooks will actually legitimately snap an ankle. No bullshit. Like it will happen. Davis
we'll
Mills'
see.
giraffe head ass will do something, but
Taylor Go, who's projected to be like the 5th overall pick, will be locking up Brandon Cooks. So
I think that
ankle
game.
snap.
I think that game will be very close.
I mean, yeah. So
We'll see.
I guess Hart. I guess another question: who do you think is going to win the Heisman?
man, I hate this discussion because I don't like
Give
any.
it to Dougie boy, bro. Give it to Dougie.
Yeah, like I honestly think Max Duggan might be the best option. I mean, Caleb Williams has played out of his mind a lot during this season, but I mean, a lot of these guys just had like booty lick last games. Like CJ Stroud looked awful against Michigan. Caleb Williams looked awful against Utah. Who's just Stetson Bennett? Stetson Bennett's not getting the fucking Heisman. Like, I mean, come on. Max Duggan, dude. I mean, he does it with his legs. He does it with his arm. He's led that team. He's almost put him on his back
with his
in some
heart.
situations. Like, it's crazy. I don't. I'd probably have to give it to him, man. I mean, it's a tough choice because I don't like any of them. But what do you think? Would you give it to him, or did you probably go the Williams Stroud route?
I think I'd go in my order. I think Williams wins it. I think Duggan comes in second. I think what Stroud comes in third, and I think Hendon Hooker comes fourth.
Hmm.
Even
I
though
do
it's
think,
impossible
honestly,
for him to come fourth, I hope he comes fourth.
yeah, I do think, honestly, a lot of people probably voted early in the Heisman process, like early as in before the Utah game,
Yeah,
like before the championship weekend. They were like, oh, yeah, Caleb Williams is the guy. And then that game happens. You're like, oh, well, is he? Like,
yeah. I
yeah.
mean, to be fair, he was injured the entire game. He probably shouldn't have been out there, which
Mhm.
almost hurt his Heisman reputation.
Mhm.
But that kid's a gamer. His stats this season, like on paper, were ridiculous,
Mhm.
like video game like. So I think they should win it, but I don't know. I wouldn't mind seeing Duggan win it. He definitely deserves it as well. It's just a tough year to toss up.
Yeah, it was a weird year for college football. There's like no clear cut like star player. There's a
Yeah, like
star team, but like every other team is just kind of has their flaws. So
yeah, like
I
you
mean,
got
I honestly think Blake Corum should have been in the discussion. Like, it sucks
yeah,
he got injured and going through the season-ending surgery, but that dude stayed healthy. I think he definitely would have been a top 3 candidate. I mean, that
I do
guy
too.
looks amazing for Michigan. He is their offense.
Yeah, he's nasty, and it hurts Michigan. That's why I think they beat TCU, but don't beat Georgia.
I agree.
what injury did Corum have?
He had a knee problem.
Is he coming back at all this year? This year or no?
Out for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's tough for him because he's. I mean, to be fair, Michigan has looked good running the ball without Corum, especially in the last 2 games with against Ohio State and against. I mean, Purdue. It's Purdue, but they have looked good. Their backups have been playing well, so hopefully they'll be well in the playoff.
Yeah, that Edwards kid, he's very good. I like the
Yeah,
way he moves.
he's shifty.
100%.
All right. Well, Mr. Hart, thank you for hopping on. It's always nice to have you. Our official stat keeper of the Barroom Boys. This is the man behind all the percentages for the NFL. This is the man behind Hart's home half. This is the heart and soul of the squad. Mr. Hart, thank you.
I appreciate you boys for having me on as always. Thank you so much. Happy to be on at any time.
All right, that was Austin Hart. A great interview as always. Real big shout out to him for coming on. He is an absolute unreal dude, great person. So, all right, we decided to make a couple changes in our plans here. I know we talked about doing a little Madden draft today. We're going to push that back given the amount of time that we've been recording. So we'll dedicate more of a full episode to it next time. We just don't want to give you guys like a 2-hour episode. Like that's just ridiculous time wise. You don't need that. So we're going to go ahead. We'll do the beer draft and then we'll hop into the outro.
Yep.
Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right.
That's what the order, Mondo.
So here's how the order is going to work. Based on the results of the last poll, teams 1 and 3 were tied. That would be myself and Beeve with 50% of the vote. And with that, we got a rock, paper, scissors. I mean, that's kind of the
All right, let's do it.
way here.
Let's do it then.
Right?
Yeah.
So what do we do? Best of 1, 2 out of 3. How do you want to do it?
That's the one. We don't need to waste any more
All
time.
right, let's get it.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
But they both went scissors.
Wait, hold up, pause. This Zoom thing's freaking me out.
Yeah, I'm trying to commentate it for.
Gotta-
Should I write
gotta
down a
warm it up.
number and then you guys pick a number 1 through 10 and whatever one's
No,
closest?
it's everyone's got to watch this happen.
All right,
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
tie again.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Braverman wins. Scissors beats paper.
And go paper
All
twice.
right, Han, you writing it down?
Yep. What's the order?
Make sure, real talk, when you make the graphic, you write the names correctly so we don't get flamed by some weirdo named Shamal
Yeah, we don't need any more
or
haters.
Camille with a K. Calling
You know,
us
we're
pigs
out
and
here
shit.
just trying to
We're just
promote
doing our thing, bro. Leave us
Beauty of
alone.
Kelia Watt, a beautiful young lady. I believe she's a soccer player too.
She is.
And we have a hater in our comments saying, "Oh, you misspelled her name."
Like,
Well,
yeah,
sorry.
typos fucking happen.
Sorry, we misspelled her name. It won't happen.
You know
next
what?
time.
You want an internship here? Do ya? I didn't think so. Now shut the fuck up and get off our page.
All right, let's get
Stupid
into it.
ass.
All right,
All
so
right,
best
Dave.
beers. We're going with popular beers here. We're not doing any IPAs. You know, no local breweries. Nothing local. We're going all national, maybe even global. Mostly it should be global. 1A, my first pick, gotta be Corona. Something just different about
Wait, what's the order?
Well, Beeves first, obviously.
yeah.
Who's 2 and who's 3?
You're
dick.
2 because you lost the rock paper scissors, right? Odds 3.
Okay.
I thought we were already on the same page here.
No.
Be good. All right. Beef takes Corona. Good pick.
That was my first pick. In a bottle with a lime,
Can't go
without
wrong.
a lime, all the same. It's still good.
Bro, give me Bud Light. That's my favorite beer. I'm taking Bud Light.
I like it.
Can't you gotta go your favorites round 1, right?
Can't go
Yeah.
wrong with Bud Light's my favorite, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna go with 2 of my favorite beers, kind of both for different purposes. One that I'd much rather enjoy in a glass, which my first pick is gonna be Blue Moon. With a nice little orange slice. Can't go wrong. And then my second pick, my back-to-back, is gonna be one more a beer that I can more kind of pound better. If I'm drinking heavily, I'd rather drink this, and that's Michelob Ultra. Can't go wrong with a nice Mick.
So I'm gonna take picks 1A and 1B of the beer draft. I don't know how it got back to me, but I'm gonna take Miller Lite. Thank you. Carry on.
Not gonna lie, this might be a hot take. I'm not the biggest Miller Lite fan.
I mean, that's crazy.
Okay, would you rather drink Bud Light or Miller Lite?
Well, that's not fair. Bud Light's I've grown like Bud
Yeah.
Light's my beer.
Exactly.
Fair. All right. So I get 2 picks here. So that's an advantage because a lot of my favorite beers have
You're
already
gonna
been.
find a way to fuck it up. Stop the preamble.
You know, I'm gonna go with the classic American beer, Coors. Not Coors Light, just Coors.
Banquet?
Coors Banquet.
Banquet beer, baby.
And then my next pick, oof, Man, I could go one of two ways here. A beer that I drink in large quantity or a beer that has a little bit more quality. For the purposes of best beer, I'm gonna side with quality. And my next pick is gonna be Stella Artois.
Stella's a good pick.
Can we take seltzers?
You want to, sure.
I'm taking high noon.
You want to take high noon,
High
sure.
noon's gas,
Well,
bro.
wait. I don't know if we can because it's best beer draft.
I mean, it's technically.
It's not a beer.
It's not a beer.
It's
All
not a
right.
beer. If we're being technical.
We're gonna nitpick, huh?
I mean, we said best beer in the beginning. I feel like that could have been higher up on some people's draft board.
Okay. Well, now you got me fucking stuck. I'm gonna take Fat Tire.
That tire's a good beer.
Yeah.
All right. Wonder takes Fat Tire. All right, with my first pick, another one of my favorite beers. Currently, I think the most stocked beer in my fridge right now is a place that I've actually been to, which is kind of cool. I've been to this brewery. I'm gonna go with Kona Big Waves. Can't go wrong with Kona Big Waves.
Where's their brewery at? I feel like it's in Florida, no?
Oh, it's in Hawaii. Kona, Hawaii.
Really? Oh wow. That's
Yeah.
dope.
So when my dad did the Hawaii Ironman World Championships, went to that brewery. Pretty dope brewery, if I have to say so myself. Then my next pick on my turn, I'm gonna go with just an American classic. And that is a good old Sam Adams Boston Lager.
Classic.
Being from Boston or around Boston, can't go wrong with a Boston Lager.
Okay, I'm gonna take the best beer you can actually ever have. Based out of Wisconsin. I have some in my office fridge just because it's that good. If you ever take a trip to Wisconsin, I recommend you get it. You can only buy it from there, but you can take it wherever you want. It's called Spotted Cow. It is the best beer ever. Beeve, I'll try and grab some from the office fridge so that you can try it.
Sure.
It's incredible.
Nice.
All right, Spotted Cow.
You could say I've never heard of it, but it sounds pretty cool.
You can only buy it in Wisconsin.
Do you know like the percentages and shit?
I can look it up real quick.
Is it like a lager, an IPA, light beer?
A fucking beer. Yes, like it's a cream ale.
Okay. It sounds good.
4.8%.
Okay. Sounds
It's
good.
so good.
Cream
Definitely
ale.
recommend.
Is it an India Pale Ale?
No, can't say it is.
It's creamy.
Yeah, it's just creamy.
All right. Well, my next pick in the beer draft, I'm gonna take it old school, and I'm gonna go with PBR, Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Like
Good
that.
taste. Good taste. Not great. Good taste, but great bottle yeah, great can.
Great branding.
Yeah, great branding. Hasn't changed since they came out probably 100 years ago.
Mhm.
PBR. And then wrapping up my top five, I am gonna go with I'm gonna go with Natty Light.
Good old classic.
Kind of the same level as PBR. I'd put PBR like a little bit higher, honestly. But I mean, Natty Light. When you're just looking to get fucked, like just drink a shit ton of Natty Lights.
Yep.
That's the way to go.
Nice.
I'm gonna go Miller High Life.
Fuck you.
Man, how's that still on the board? I thought
God damn it. You took my pick.
Miller Light. I
Good
forgot.
pick.
1 to 5 powerhouse lineup. Here we go.
Good pick. All right, with the last pick of the draft, I mean, there's nothing better, and this can is ingenious. It's next level. I mean, you could tell the can is cold, but the Rockies are blue. It's Coors Light.
Beef, didn't you take that?
I took Coors Banquet.
Oh, I wish I knew that. I wasn't paying attention.
All right.
Man, Coors Light sneak itself into the last pick.
I know.
That's crazy.
Deal the draft.
That's true.
But to recap, all right, so B's draft. Corona, Coors Banquet, Stella Artois, PBR, and Natty Light. Mondo took Bud Light, Miller Light, Fat Tire, Spotted Cow, and Miller High Life. Then I took Blue Moon, Michelob Ultra, Kona Big Wave, San Adams Boston Lager, and Coors Light. All right, we got some honorable mentions, boys.
How much time you got?
What?
How much time you got?
You're the moderator, bro.
That's true. All right, each give us two.
I'm gonna go with Modelo as an honorable mention.
It's Modelo time.
Modelo time.
I'm also gonna say Funky Buddha, even though it's not like a national beer. It's a great tasting beer.
Yep, for sure. All right, Mondo.
All right. Give me Yingling.
I was gonna
Dos Equis.
Dos Equis.
Well,
All
second.
right.
Most interesting man in the world.
All right. I mean, there's nothing screams America and beer more than a Busch Light. So that's got to be up there.
Facts.
As an
Keystone
honor.
Light.
Budweiser.
Budweiser would have been up there for me, but unfortunately, it's not going to make my honorable mentions
Man,
list.
people aren't buying Busch Lights anymore.
I know, slept on. I used to go crazy with Busch Lights. If you know, you know. Shout out Dugout and Jeep. But last honorable mention, I'm gonna go with Sour Monkeys. Victory Brewing Company Sour Monkey.
Yep.
Yep. That's good.
You had a lot of those in your fridge.
Did always stocked.
Do you guys want to see me snap into character for the outro?
No, nobody said Heineken.
I
Yeah.
know. I did say Heineken. Heineken's a
Shit.
good beer. It just has the reputation since I saw the TikTok of it's always just been ruined from this one memory of me. I was sitting in dugout junior year of college, in the living room, watching TV with some of my roommates, and it was on TikTok, and I saw it was like this beer describes who you are, and it was Heineken, and it said feet lover. I pan to my left, and I see Mike Bischoff drinking a Heineken. So it actually just ruined it for me. I kid you not, that has happened. That's why I don't fuck with Heineken anymore.
That's fair.
Good beer, but I just can't. Every time I see one or drink one, that's like the first thing that comes in my mind, and I'm like, nope. So I'm on the character.
First beer I
Snap
tried.
into character. I don't know that I can. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe, share with everyone you know. It really does help. Give us comments about different segments, different ideas for drafts. That way we can use them, give you guys credit. And with that, we will see you guys on the next episode. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.